Black University is unable to use the word Black during Black History Month. Let me take you to FAMU. Yep, Florida. Put it up full mass. In Florida, Aaliyah Steward says she is in her final year at Florida A&M University College of Law, and she has encountered obstacles while trying to promote, well, Black History Month, because it's Black History Month. She's promoting events for the Black Law Students Association, BLSA, which I am a proud member myself. According to Stewart, certain words were flagged during the approval process of the event flyers. Quote, it was Black, so that's a word that was flagged. The words affirmative action and the word women as well, according to Stewart. Stewart says she was told those words could not be broadcast or published. Quote, we couldn't use the word Black in Black History Month. We would have to abbreviate it, she said. Quote, I was very angry and baffled because this is a historically Black college and university. Well, you got to say HBCU now. You cannot say historically Black college anymore, obviously. And for them to say we can't use the word Black was kind of insane. I agree with you, dear sister. So for the past several years, Florida's 12 public universities have been prohibited from using state or federal funds for diversity, equity, and inclusion. They call them DEI woke programs, following legislation signed by the governor and reinforced by the State Board of Governors. In 2024, the State Board of Governors, which oversees Florida's 12 public universities, including FAMU, voted to ban the use of state or federal dollars for diversity programs and activities aligning with the law signed by the governor. Obviously, racist legislation, not rooted in sound judgment, antithetical to the Constitution, and adverse to many court decisions, except some of those in the modern context. For Stewart, the situation has cast a shadow on her final year of law school. Quote, we're just trying to promote the core mission statement, diversity and inclusion for everybody. So it's very frustrating, she said. Stewart said she recently resubmitted a Black History Month flyer without abbreviations and is still waiting to hear back from university officials. I'm going to explain the law in just a moment. In a statement, the university did not deny the claims and emphasized its compliance with state law. Quote, Florida A&M University has consistently been in full compliance with Senate Bill 266 and Board of Governors Regulation 9.016. We support and have implemented the policy direction established by the governor, the legislature, and the Board of Governors as it relates to DEI, and consistent with related federal court rulings. Florida Agricultural and Mechanical University is committed to fostering a campus community that encourages the free exchange of ideas while ensuring an environment of mutual respect, safety, and awareness. The university recognized that freedom of expression is fundamental to academic inquiry, personal development, and civic engagement. Now, obviously, freedom of expression is limited to Black affirmative action and the word women, according to this law student. The law does not prohibit the use of the word Black. I'm not sure exactly where FAMU is getting this direction from, but it does not prohibit the use of the word Black. What it prohibits is the effective funding of programs that engage in what they call DEI, okay, which is already ridiculous, but it doesn't ban the use of the word Black. Now, maybe they don't want the fight. They don't want the smoke, okay? You happen to be a college that caters to Black folk. You are an HBCU. And the reason we go to HBCUs, the reason why HBCUs exist is because of the community and the strength of Black culture and values, the expression of Black excellence, which includes dignity. Dignity. So you mean to tell me that Black people at a Black college cannot use the term Black during Black History Month? I don't give a damn what a law says. Thankfully, people like Rosa Parks and others did not either. Because if we would have had leaders like this during the 60s who decided to simply bend over and roll over, I already know people are going to email me from FAMU. But if we had leaders like this who simply said yes to every oppressive piece of legislation that came from Washington or came from a state government, we wouldn't have the rights we have today, period. Put them up full mask, culprit, and the president of FAMU. So you have, as we covered last year, the current president of FAMU, Marva Johnson, has close ties to the Florida governor, Ron DeSantis. The Florida Board of Governors voted to confirm Johnson last year, despite alumni groups, despite student organizations and faculty members saying they were largely concerned about Johnson's work under the DeSantis administration, who banned funding for diversity, equity, and inclusion programs at Florida colleges and blocked advanced placement African American studies curriculum in Florida high schools. In other words, he found his person, okay? So this is his person, blackface, to carry out a racist white agenda, period, all right? Okay. While Johnson has never worked in higher education in any capacity whatsoever, she spent 8 years on the Florida State Board of Education, including time as a chair. This is a political appointment. During the hiring process, critics highlighted her lack of experience, as did some trustees who voted against her. Johnson is one of multiple presidential hires with ties to DeSantis or the GOP since 2022, and the state legislature passed a bill allowing universities to shield applicant identities until the end of the hiring process, breaking with longstanding tradition of making those names public and obviously open to public vetting. All right, dear brother, thoughts here.
Well, let me say this. Now that it's History Month, because I'm not allowed to say the word
Right,
that precedes
History Month.
All right, it's History Month. I want to know why police officers are allowed to say Black when they're describing the person they're pursuing or the person that they say this is what the description is. They're allowed to say Black then, especially in Florida. I wonder why the news says Black every time there's a criminal that commits any type of crime who happens to be Black, and that person is part of this whole, but when they're white, they're simply a lone wolf. They get to say Black then. When it comes to President Obama, a lot of people love pointing out how he was the first Black president, even though he was half white, so equally as white as he was Black, and yet the Black is what they blame for any inadequacy that they see. It's because it's got to be racially motivated. So I want to know why Black is okay in those contexts, but just not in this. Not in the case where Florida A&M University, which was founded in 1887 and is currently the third largest HBCU, which stands for Historically Black College and University, but we must remit the Black. That's the problem. And to President Marva Johnson, I'd like to say this. Marva Johnson, I understand that you've been elected and been placed and you owe all these wonderful white people everything, but stand up, because guess what? You are now also a victim of placism. You owe nothing to anyone but yourself. And yourself, Marva Johnson, whether you know this or not, happens to be Black. And if you don't know that because you're not allowed to say the word, allow me to say the word for you. Blackety black, black, blackety black, black, black. And so I say this, and even though I know you owe that responsibility to your student body and you want to make sure that funding stays in, you owe a bigger responsibility of morals and ethics to show your student body to stand up for what's morally correct. what is
That's right.
right in this union. And if we need to come up with a euphemism, I'm from DC. We've come up with many euphemisms before. We say glizzy means hot dog, but we all know what it really means. Maybe we'll say it's Blizzy History Month. Maybe we'll say that Marva Johnson is blizzity, blizz, blizz, blizz. And we'll allow the student, Aaliyah Steward, thank you for being you. And one day you have a bright future for being a blizzy student with blizzy responsibilities.
Yeah. Sad, isn't it, if it wasn't so true?